Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you today, hopefully connect some dots about single prints and fair value gaps. Single prints is from the market profile and fair value gaps are from ICT, who I introduced to the group this week. And I want to talk about some of those things because this week we had some great reactions because of single prints and because of fair value gaps. Okay, now according to Shadow Trader, the definition of a single print is an area where there's high emotion, prices moving rapidly through a series of prices, and price does not come back and revisit that same price on that day. And we're going to talk about that much more specifically. But when we're going to talk about single prints, I go into my chart settings and I want to turn on my session breaks so I can see my daily lines, because single prints only occur on the day that they are to have occurred. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, I want to see where we're all at. Okay, oh, here's this big vomit. Okay, I was looking for the big vomit because there's lots of single prints over here. So let's talk about this day right here between this horizontal, between this vertical line and this vertical line. I don't need to outline it. This is 1 day of trading. So all of this area right up in here, price, I'm going to get rid of this extension. Price kept bouncing back and forth between all these prices and hitting them more than once. Okay, so there's no single prints in this area. And then price vomits down, and as you can tell, from this area to here, I'm going to extend this to the right. These are single prints. Price only hit those prices once. Okay, price came down, then price went back up. So this little area right here is not single prints. And then we've got this area of single prints. Then we have a tiny little bit of area of single prints right there as well. Let's extend this. We have, there's probably no single prints there. There's nothing there. Sorry. Right here, there's a tiny bit of single prints. I'm sure if I zoomed in, I would see those. And then here's another set of single prints here. And this last little bit is just a tail. There's no single prints down here, although price only touched them once. By the definition, it's inside the trading day, okay? So when price went away on this day, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of single prints. They call that a quadruple distribution day. Some days there's only 1 set of single prints. Some days there's 2 sets of single prints. 2 sets of single prints would be a double distribution day. Not that that's important, but if you ever hear that word, that's what they're talking about. So we're looking for these gaps. Now, ICT would call these fair value gaps. On a 30-minute chart, these happen to be called single prints from the market profile perspective. You can do these fair value gaps on any chart. I tend to do them on the 30-minute. And I'm going to chop off right here because I only want to deal with this part of the chart. And let's switch to a 1 hour. I like to do 1 hour as well. Now, one of the things I've been doing lately is I've been coding these the correct color. So like these are half hour. This was a half hour, so I use my half hour colors to where when I go back later and look, I know exactly what time frame those came from. So those are my half hours. We're not going to worry about these because price has not gotten up there yet. So I did a 1 hour here, so I'm going to 1 hour, and I have a 1 hour fair value gap between here and here, and I'm going to color this yellow, and I'm going to make this yellow because I know it's a 1 hour. I have another fair value gap between here and here. that's yellow. There's probably one little bitty something in. Actually, there's not. Okay. So let's close that out. And let's come way, whoops. And let's come way back over here. Let's go to the 30-minute chart actually, because there we go. Okay. So this orange, I'm going to turn this one off for now. Let's just talk about this market profile single prints. I want you to notice what price did. Price came all the way back up and completed them. The market is very OCD. It does not like unfinished business. It does not like single prints. It wants price to have went through each price at least twice. So this is called filling the single prints, almost to the T. And look at this. So it look at it. It went up to the top of the single prints, went to the bottom, went to the top, and then left. Now, for the sake of discussion, we have this set of single prints, don't we? I'm going to do these in orange. I got another set right here. Let's see what price. In fact, there's another little one right here. Let's see what price did for each of these newly established single prints. So I'm going to get rid of that one because we've already seen it fully tested. Almost fully filled, almost fully filled. And there we go, fully filled and gone. Let's keep going over. All right, let's look at this one. So went fully filled. Look at that, it went in, tested the bottom, tested the top, tested the bottom, went up. Came back and tested the top. And look what it did on this set of small single prints. That's where it stopped. Bounced all around in there. Okay. And then price went up, and here's the 1 hour fair value gap I drew earlier, which also had a little bitty market profile one. So let's do this. I'm going to select, we're going to get rid of this. So this is the single prints from the 30-minute chart, and look at that. It went right up to the top of it and came down. Now I'm going to add back that 1 hour right there, and look where price went. It filled it. So this is the power of these fair value gaps on all time frames. Just on a 30-minute time frame, it happens to be called single prints. So in the 1 hour, I just switched to 1 hour, guys. I had marked both of these fair value gaps, so I wanted to make sure I turned them both back on. And the hour didn't fill it, didn't fill it. Let's come over here. And so let's look at this fair value gap. Look at the top of these candles. It went right to the top of that fair value gap and dropped. That's where it had trouble to get through. Price shot up to the bottom of this fair value gap, played around a little bit, shot to the top of the fair value gap. Now see, this is where I believe the cotton training is lacking, and why I like market profile and introducing you to ICT. Market profile will not have these 1 hour fair value gaps. That's an ICT thing. I love marking my 1 hour fair value gaps, and I even mark them smaller than that. But if I was to encourage you to start adding 2 things to your chart, you would be doing the 30-minute chart, trying to find the single prints on every given day, okay? And having them on your chart. And if you are on TradingView, it's easy to put them in your own folder that you can turn on or off. So I could take all of these, put them in their own folder. I can turn them on and off. And sometimes you've probably seen me turn on and off boxes and probably wondered, what in the world are those? Those are fair value gaps, and those are single prints, okay? So let's go back to the 30-minute chart for a second. I'm going to delete. I just wanted you to see this from a larger perspective. Touch, drop, touch, drop. Those are the hour ones. But let's go back to the 30-minute ones. Because what I want you to do now is start looking at what are the fair value gaps above me that will act as a price magnet. Okay? Now, if you are on TradingView, there's a great little indicator called FVG, Fair Value Gap, by this nephew Sam. And you can, well, typically I turn it on and I see all my fair value gaps. That's interesting that that's not working right now, but it's pointing out these, but not the one above me. It must be a setting I have. But so let's just do this. What are the fair value gaps below us? I like to know what fair value gaps are below us and what fair value gaps are above us, so I know areas that price might want to go. So it identified this as a fair value gap between this candle and this candle, but to me, price already filled it. I won't use this fair value gap. Here's another fair value gap between, well, you see where it's drawn. It's from here to here. But price filled most of it. So I'm going to move this down to here. That's the remaining fair value gap. That's the remaining single prints that price might want to go. I got another big one. Look at this one. That's a big set of single prints right below us. We have another set of single prints right here below us. So we've got some big targets below us. Look at, now this is a gap up. I think this is when the contract was starting to change, or I don't really remember. But you would want to go in and mark these set of single prints, because most likely that's where price is going to go and bounce without a cotton level even existing. Okay, I want to switch to this 1 hour again. I'm going to turn off this indicator because my eye goes straight to the fair value gaps anyway. So here's this fair, let's mark these fair value gaps one more time on this 1 hour. From here to here, 1 hour is yellow for me. From here to here. Okay, so these are my 1 hour fair value gaps. There's no cotton levels here. Yet, price bounced perfectly off both of them. So if you're interested in adding some additional trades, some additional tools, I at least recommend doing the 1 hour fair value gaps and the 30-minute fair value gaps. And the 30-minute fair value gaps also happens to be single prints, as long as you limit your drawings to the day. For example, this area right here is 3 days. That area right there is 3 days. I'm not looking for what were the single prints over these 3 days. No, we only want to do the single prints. What are the single prints on this day? And I want to draw those single prints for only that day. Okay, and once they're tested and full, you can delete them from your chart. They're no longer needed. Okay. So if you have any additional questions on that, let me know. Maybe we need to hop on a live Zoom. But I just wanted to give you a little insight into the single prints, kind of the cheap cheap is the wrong, well, maybe it's the right word. The hack, the shortcut way is just put your chart on a 30-minute chart and know which are the full trading sessions, and you can mark the single prints, an area where price only touched that area once. If you're on TradingView, you can get that indicator, and it is very helpful to find those fair value gaps, but my eyes just go to them now. So when I'm looking at here, for example, I see this gap right here. My eye just goes right to it because I want to see what price does when it gets there. Now here was another fair value gap. So let's do this. Let's do something fun for a second. Let me go to a 15-minute chart. I'm just curious over here what it did when it hit these fair value gaps. So it filled this one, then it came back a little, and then it filled this one and it came back a little. Not exact, not as perfect as ones we had yesterday, but they still filled them and left the area. Let's go to a 1 minute. I want to see what's below us on a 1 hour. Sorry, a 1 hour. I'm going to take all of those. I'm just going to delete those because I already have them. So let's look. What are the fair value gaps below us on the 1 hour? We have this right here. Just to make it more, so from the bottom of that candle to the top of this one, there's where our fair value gap resides on this 1 hour chart. Now, fair value gaps differ in the single prints in one way. The fair value gap, it doesn't matter that price already touched these price points over here, because in this area here, on this day, price went through it a couple times. But because there's this explosion of price action, it left this gap here, which ICT calls fair value gap. So there's two kind of concepts here that I'm talking about today. We got the market profile, 30-minute, and price only one time. Okay, so we got the first concept is market profile. We're looking for the 30 minutes. I'm going to switch to 30 minutes. We're looking for an area in the day. So there's my vertical line. This is all Friday. What areas did price only touch one time? Can we use this area? The answer to that question is no, because if you extend this back, well, price touched this area more than once. So we can't use that area. Can I use this area right here? Nope, because price touched all of that. All right, so that's not an area of single prints. What about this fair value gap? Would that give us a set of single prints from here to here? It's a fair value gap, but it's not a set of single prints. Or is it? If we bring this all the way down to here, we have an area that price only touched one time. Let me bring it back. I'm going to turn on the fair value gap. I'm curious if it... So, this little indicator will not tell you single prints. It will tell you fair value gaps. So what is the definition of the single print? Price only went through there once. And you'll see it marked that as a fair value gap. But as far as single prints, that is the set of single prints right there. Boy, you got to be a little picky here. Right there to right there. So for fair value gaps, there's quite a few of them where price gapped up. But as you can tell, price has filled them. Price has went through those areas more than once on that day. So as far as single prints are concerned, 30-minute chart on a single day, where did price only go through an area once? So as price comes back down on us here, so let's say price starts coming back down, this is an area I expect to be a huge magnet. I would think price would fill the entire set of single prints and probably bounce. You have the added bonus here on a 30-minute chart. I also have a 30-minute level. So I got the bottom of a single print plus a cotton level. I expect 4062 to be a price area that price action will bounce. So when you can combine a cotton level, hold level, with a fair value gap or a cotton level and single prints, you got something. And single prints is also a fair value gap. It's just a very highly specific type of a fair value gap. So when you can combine a cotton level with a fair value gap, or a cotton level and a set of single prints, you've got something pretty powerful. Because what I was going to show you, let me delete these. Let's go back to the hour chart for a second. I'm going to get rid of these vertical lines. I only like it when I'm trying to find single prints. That on this hour fair value gap, I want you to notice there's not a cotton level. Yet what did price do? It bounced. Because it filled the fair value gap. The top of the fair value gap, the bottom of the fair value gap can basically act as like support and resistance. All right, so those are a few things I wanted to share with you. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.